Hello, we're back with one more episode of Wheel of Fortune, just as a little bonus episode because, well, I did promise 7 games even though. This is actually one of our practice games. That's right, I have a practice game for you guys in case, well, you know. So there's really no competition. He'll be quiet for this one because he's lost and he's still crying in a corner. So yeah, this is just basically what we went through trying to get this set up and making sure everything was right and we had everything we wanted to know. There's the 800 I got. Now, I'm going to try to at least give a little bit of logic into what we should be thinking at this point and what we were trying to do. And basically some hints. Like at this point in the puzzle, you can see that there's a blank letter. There's only 2 letters it could be that we know of, A or I. Same thing with the upper right, and such. These usually give a priority onto what letters we should be picking. But also, we always start with R, S, and T because those are the most common 3 letters in the puzzle. Including L and E, you get the most common 6, which is why they're always in the bonus round, because everyone used to call them in the early seasons. So that's why they're kinda... If you have a little look in the English language, you can see that there's a large amount of variance on what letters you should be picking. And most of the letters we start picking at first are the most common ones, and then we go down the line. Unfortunately, we had one Z in a puzzle, and that kind of got someone's bluff during a bonus round. Okay, 2 ends, but that doesn't really hurt much, but it doesn't help. Okay, A was called, and that was the blank letter. You still don't know the 2-letter word. That we need to figure out. And this puzzle looks like it has an M in it if you look at the mind. Which, well, if we were actually competing, I wouldn't be mentioning it. And look what ended up happening. It actually wasn't in the puzzle. So at this point, I'd be thinking, let's see, what other letters could it be? 800, okay, good spin. I might want to try F. I'm thinking find. Okay, it wasn't F, but I know one of the vowels is O now because of. And that just solved it, because now I know it's one of a kind. Now, I know I don't have enough money where I could put him away for a little bit, so I'm going to spin one more time. You may have seen this throughout the series that we try to get a little more money again to get ahead of the other person or catch up. Often this ended up being a folly that caused us to lose all our money and then had the other person win. And now the game's going to tell us, hey look, there's no more letters, so we have to go only vowels. I know the puzzle. And there's 1 down. We're going to move around to puzzle 2. And I'm going to start a spin. This one is, I think what it said was a thing. I think it was a thing. If I'm wrong now, I'll correct myself in a few seconds. Because he's not actually commenting on this video. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay. Again, we're going to start with the same common letters, same common loadout, because, well, like I said, it works the easiest. I used to play a board game a little bit. Yes, they have a few additions to the board game, so I looked at the letters and see how many and which ones were most common. I noticed it also in the board. That's where I got some of my skill. So in turn, you could say it paid off here. Plus, watching the show was a big pastime when I was a young kid. Right now, we do not have enough letters that we could deduce anything out of this puzzle because one letter does not help us. Now, it's a key letter that puts a lot of hints into the puzzle. Like Frozen, if he would have called F for Frozen Stiff, he would have had Fully Stiff and he would have had F. He would have had Frozen Stiff like nothing. Okay, L doesn't really help us either here, so we're going to go with E. Okay, I can look at this now, and I could tell you the answer is Pearl Necklace before I even hit that A. But I just wanted to make sure. Now that I know the answer, we're going to slowly go through. And look where I went. I should have solved the puzzle right there, and because I didn't, and this happened so many times throughout the project, that we lost all our money. So now he's going to take a spin. Maybe he'll figure it out as soon as we can. So in this case, the E was really the letter that solved the puzzle for both of us. Not just us trying to build bank and trying to bluff each other, saying, I don't know it, I don't know it. Or trick the other person saying, I got it, and try to force him to cash out early, or try to get him a little greedy. He's not doing bad this round, which is a good thing. I mean, this is one of the practice rounds where we were doing good, and this is right before we started the actual series the next day, so he's done a little better. Because we did start that series at, you're not going to believe this, 6 a.m. right after breakfast, so we were still waking up. We did the first 4 in the morning, took a nice break to get food and to unwind and plan out other projects, then came back in the afternoon to this where he started turnaround. Okay, now we're playing with an occupation. There's a very good chance ER is going to be one of the words. Because if you think about it, but then again, there's also a chance it might not. So this puzzle, we're probably going to go with R sooner than we would, only because of that logic. Excuse me, a little dusty. Dust still flowing around from when he blew on one of my knickknacks and got me to cough during the last episode. I think I'm also developing a small cold, so okay, he lands on 500. He's calling S. Not really helping at the moment. Okay, at this moment, I can look at the bottom, and I can tell you the bottom is probably agent. Any I is just proved to pop up in a critical place. We know that it's ing. He has not seen this yet. He doesn't know it, so he's passing it to me. But that little visual clue just helped me a little bit. If it's your first time playing this game, hopefully it helps you, or any other versions. We still don't have enough. I mean, we really don't have enough yet. I can't tell you what the first word is. You might be able to. But we know it's something agent, and we know the last three letters are ing by default. So I'm probably going to call G next. If my memory is correct. And yeah, I did call G. Okay, good. That's what we wanted to call. So yeah, a little bug up there for a minute. Now I'm going to solve because I just figured out by thinking it is purchasing agent. Sometimes it takes a little bit of thought, but we get it eventually. So right now I do have a comfortable lead, so now knowing unless he gets a lucky 5,000 or the last puzzle hits a 5,000, then we're pretty much smooth sailing. The next puzzle is thing. Well, things in this case. There's a very, very good chance that an S is going to be called here. Of course, I'm going to start with R because, well, time takes, so... My next letter call is going to be S, if I remember correctly. Very smooth 500. And yes, it was an S. Okay, good. We were right on that. The reason I went with it is because things right now is plural. And I don't think they do it in show, especially anymore. But that kind of gave me a hint that it might be a plural object. So we already know it's a plural object. We got a bunch of letters already. I think the next letter I should probably call is T. Because I'm having a very good reason at this point that the first letter is street. Does make a lot of sense if you think about it. Plus, like I said, it's a common letter, but... Now, I already know it's street lights. And I didn't even call it T. I didn't need to. Again, I realized it, and now is the part where I'd start bluffing. Just to throw poor schmuckbait off. And that was a mistake right there. I should have hit L. Because I could have saved the money. And, well, I knew the puzzle anyway. So yeah, what I just did basically is kind of shut him down in a way. That he couldn't get a chance to solve the puzzle, and now the free spin is worthless. And our last one's a phrase. Let's see what he lands on. Okay, 200. At this point, Audio Guy could not win, if I remember correctly, because we just know that there's no way he could. Okay, I have a good suspicion that the first word is an as. So does he. And they're both as. Now we got as blank as blank, so I'm going to go... Okay. Now we got as blank has something with a T. So right now I'm thinking in my mind during this, what letters could it be that could help as he picks L? Now he's picking O. It could have been not or nut at this point, because there had to be a vowel. There has to be one in every puzzle. Well, every word, because that's part of the English language. So I'm thinking as like as not, but I accidentally mistyped it, so I'll quickly fix it, and it'll take it because I had the puzzle solved when the time ran out, instead of hitting end. Just one of the two ways to finish the solve part of it. Yeah, in this practice run, I demolished him. That's why I picked this one to show. And we picked the letter, and let's see what the... Like I said, we get the most common ones. Okay, I knew G. Because single. Single dot. And it wasn't it. Now, there was no way I would have been able to figure that out without the O. And that will end the project. I hope you have fun, and I'll see you on the next project.